Hey everybody, Scarpad with Scarpad's Comic Treks. Let's get done watching Star Trek Picard, episode number 7. We're 75% through this series. There's only 10 episodes. This episode was entitled Nepenthe or Nepenthe or something like that. Anyways, it picks up right at the end of the last episode where we saw Picard and uh, Shoji beaming or transporting off the Borg cube going to Nepenthe. Meanwhile, this episode starts off with a flashback, as they often do. Shows you a little bit more of what happened between Dr. Girardi and Commander O, the Vulcan security officer, on that scene on Earth where she's got the shades on and she's looking all nefarious. And about the only thing extra that goes along to see is she mind melds without permission, which Vulcans aren't supposed to do, and mind melds into Girardi, shows you all this upcoming catastrophe and destruction that's going to be brought forth by what Picard and Soji is doing, and gives her a transmitter, a little green pill to chew, saying, chew this so we can track you. It looks like a Vicks cough drop, very high tech. This is the 24th century, supposedly. So she does that, and of course, after she sees the destruction, she pukes. She does a lot of puking in this episode. She pukes in 2 or 3 good scenes, and she'll be puking later on the show. So I would say her contribution is for this episode: puke twice, drop the F bomb once, and complained a lot and wanted to go home. Oh, and she put herself into a coma. So all that. Well, we'll get ahead of ourselves. Anyways, so after that scene, then next we go back to the Borg cube where Elron of the Rings is running around with Hugh, and they must have separated because we see Hugh there, and he's being brought in by the sister, the Romulan sister there, who of course, executes all the Borgs so that Hugh would talk. Of course, Hugh doesn't know a lot. He knows where they're going, but he doesn't say anything. So she murders them all. More murder on the show, and then the Elron shows up and manages to get Hugh away, and they go off to do their thing, hide on the cube. They're gonna go back to the Queen's room. So after that, then we get the title sequence. Now everybody knows this episode has an appearance by Will Riker and Deanna Troi. And Nepenthe is where they're living, and we go and visit them. This, it really seems, I still hold to they did a lot of reshoots on this show, and I still hold that this whole subplot with Riker and Troi was penciled in here to make it feel more Star Trek. And we'll go over that in a bit. So they come down to this planet. It's kind of a wooded planet, and they meet this girl who's in war paint, and it ends up being Kestra, Troi and Riker's daughter, 16-year-old, say daughter. She's out playing around in the woods and whatnot, hunting. Because of course now they eat meat, even though in the 24th century they were all supposed to be beyond that, but they're all hunting and killing animals now. So, well, why not? So they go back to the house, and of course the house, man, it has an outdoor shower with nozzles, and this house looks like a house I used to camp in 10 years ago. I mean, it's very rustic. But of course, Kirk was living. Well, actually, Kirk's house was in his mind in the thing there. But it's very 20th century. Now, there's reasons why Troi and Riker are living this way. I guess they get the old pizza oven out. In fact, Riker does. I would say 80% of this episode is him cooking. He doesn't really get really bummed about too much. He mostly is preparing food through the whole thing. He's a big guy now, like me, so he must spend a lot of time cooking. So, anyways, they both show up, and the interesting thing I was going to say is that Riker, of course, Jonathan Frakes, has his name as a special guest star in this episode at the beginning. Marina Sirtis does not. And Marina Sirtis as Troi has no guest starring and billing in the beginning or the end. Might be kind of telling. Maybe she didn't really want to really be associated with the show. Can't really say I blame her if that's what happened. So, anyways, they meet Troi and Riker and the daughter. The daughter's name is Kestra. She named her daughter off the dead daughter of a mother that they back in the next generation episode. They went through this whole thing where Lexrana Troi had a daughter along with Troi, and she blocked it out and was psychically mentally ill because the daughter died in childbirth. It was a horrible episode, and of course Troi would honor her mother by naming her daughter after the dead daughter. And of course, this gives a little bit of a bonding between the daughter and Shoji, and that's nice. In fact, this whole Riker subplot with Troi is kind of nice. It's acted well. But man, the whole episode once again from beginning to end is so dull, and really, not much happened. I mean, Picard says, he doesn't want to tell Riker anything. It's like, why did he even put him in danger by coming here if he's not going to involve him? And they go over the whole thing. You never involved me before, and blah 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 blah. But I mean, he comes all the way here and then doesn't want to, has no plan. He even admits, I have no plan. My plan I had was terrible. I lost my crew. Uh, I'm coming to talk to you about it, but I don't know what I expect you to do. You're living like a fucking hermit in out here cooking pizzas in the woods. Of course, the daughter ends up solving all the problems because there's some crazy captain that lives in the woods that has a ship, and of course she gets on a cell phone and she instantly talks to the captain and says, "Oh, this is the details. Oh, the planet's here. You know where that is? Okay, give me the coordinates. And oh, can we use your old ship?" And that's what Picard and Shoji are going to go off on. You don't see the ship, but they just leave. They beam out. Actually, they beam out with the crew that eventually comes back. So at least the house, at least Riker's in this. The house may look like a 20th century house, but he's instantly, you know, uh, feel, force fields up, security up, blah blah blah. He's back in Commander Riker mode, issuing orders to his house, to Siri, I guess, or whoever's doing the house. You almost expect to see a phaser pop out of the roof and start shooting. So at least he's prepared for some of this, even though the house looks a little, like one note. At least behind the scenes he's got something to back it up. Unlike Picard, who on his vineyard had people just wandering in and out, and Romulans coming in to shoot and kill him, and nothing happens. So I guess that was okay. Uh, so we go back, and forth to the cube, Romulan cube, where basically Elnor and Hugh are hiding from the bad sister, and we also go to the ship where we get a little bit of story with Rios and Giuliani. She pukes again after looking all nervous. Raffi goes, "Oh, come with me. Your auntie Raffi will take care of you," saying that she's going to give her drugs and alcohol. A nice crew member ends up giving her cake instead out of the 3D printer, which is the replicator in the show. And she pukes that up again. So that's the extent of that plan. Then for some reason she induces herself into a coma. She gets a little hypo out of the 3D printer, and now she's in a coma. Yeah, and then back at the board cube, of course, Hugh dies. Because who doesn't die in this show? You can't have a character that isn't depressed, pissed off, doesn't want to be in space, uh, kills people, murders people, eats meat, or dies. So Elnor, of course, is doing his best against particle beam weapons as any sword wielding Romulan would. I mean, he can only do so much. He's got a sword and they got fucking phasers, but he can bounce around a lot and kind of get around the phaser beam. And he thinks he gets a drop on the bad sister, but no, she gets the old Romulan knife and whoop, right in the Hugh's neck. So another decent character, probably only one of the few characters on the show because they all suck on the ship. Even Picard says later on that his crew is a bunch of assholes in no uncertain terms. Um, so Q dead, dead. Another one dead. So he's dead. Meanwhile, we go back to Troi and Riker, and of course, they can't be happy. They can't be living in retirement and all bubbly. No, 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 no. Troy had another had a son, 18 years old, dead, dead. Caught some sort of bad silicone plague on the ship, and just so we could tie it to the plot. And that's why I think this whole plot is kind of an afterthought, because we find out that the kid died because of the ban on synth, that the vaccine could have been a cure, but because the Federation banned synths, they weren't even able to use the technology to save people with this disease. So now we have a bad Federation, let Romulans die, let people die, you know, in conspiracies with others. And now we have them, saying that, we could solve your medical emergency on your son here, but unfortunately we can't get into this whole scent thing anymore. And so because of that, hey, he's got to die. So Troy's all weepy because it said the son croaked when he was 18 and left his sister alone, and she's all bummed out about it. And now she kind of bonds with Soji because she's all bummed out about being. Oh my fucking God. Everybody in this goddamn show is fucking depressed or fucking depressing or they murder people. I mean, I really couldn't wait for this 55 minutes, which once again moved like a snail, to end. It was that torturous to sit through this. Even with Troi and Riker in this, it was torture. Um, so, really, that's about it. The story didn't progress much. This whole side trip to see Troi and Riker, they spent most of it walking through the woods or eating pizza and talking about the old times of being sad. And not much really happened. The interesting thing is, even Riker at the beginning of the show there said that uh, Picard going out to save these billions of Romulans was basically a fool's errand. That no good deeds go unpunished. So even Riker in this is kind of bloodthirsty after the Romulan Empire planet builds up. Even he's against saving the people. Yeah, fuck them. Let them die. The girl brings in a nice bunny that we saw earlier that she butchered and killed and eat that sausage for the pizza. Okay, now, well, we got 2 more episodes to go in this fucking shit show. Eight, actually 3 more episodes, 8, 9, 10. It looks like things are gonna pick up a little bit next episode. The sister and brother team. The brother's following the ship, by the way, because Gilardi has that tracker, and who fucking cares? Of course, Rios thinks it's the drug-addled whatever, and she's blaming the scientist chick. They said this the science this chick, this other chick, the android chick. People in the 24th century talk like this. So we got 3 more episodes to see where this all goes, and hopefully they don't leave a cliffhanger for next season, because I don't know if I could take it if they do. Yeah, that's it. Oh, 7 comes back next time. She probably murders more people, probably. Everybody, I wish I could be a little bit more optimistic about Star Trek Picard, but it continues its long sloth to utter mediocrity. So I hope you enjoyed this look at it. Hope you're enjoying it. If you are, well, hey, good for you. And we'll catch you later.